Peace, y'all. Welcome to the 11th installment of Saturday Samples. It's a good day today. I actually made this video on Friday, wanted to post it then, but something was just like bothering me. It was like the intro. I'd used this other camera, so the quality wasn't as good. So I was like, cool, let me re-record. And it's Saturday, and I'm like, okay, Saturday Samples, #11. So welcome or welcome back, whichever suits you. If you're not part of the family, I highly recommend you subscribe. And I'm trying to build a community. I want you to be part of it, where we share music, where we communicate. It's not just me speaking to people. I also want to hear what you got to say. I want to speak with you. I want to be creative with you. So I got this crazy beat, pretty simple. It sounds like this. I just want to break it down. And I know my subscribers are like, okay, where have you been? People who've been keeping an eye on me, they're like, where you been? It's been like 6 months, 7 months. And I'm gonna address all of that at the end of the video. So let's get into the beats. Awesome. So starting off with the sample. As requested by one of you guys, I'm gonna put the link of the sample in the description. But that's gonna stop very soon because I'm about to switch to vinyl. Where I move to, we have a record store. Now all that's missing on my side is the record player. I even brought one of the records with me. It's cool. Soon I'll be sampling off of actual records, man. I love hardware, man. I'm a hardware addict. I think I'm getting addicted to that. So yeah, starting with the sample. And the link is in the description. So the sample is Common Blues by Alberto Bembo. Probably said his name wrong. I'm sorry for that. And it sounds like this. Right, that's the sample that we're working with, and I think I kind of impressed myself with the chopping. So I have these chops loaded up. And as you can notice, the sample is in 3/4 timing, so it's going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Well, the typical, not all, but the typical hip hop beat is 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So to fix that, you kind of have to play them quicker. So it'll be something like, instead of. With that in mind, I then came up with this pattern over here. Let me solo the drums. I got. To me, that's pretty cool. That's the second sequence. I honestly prefer it over the first sequence. I feel like if you have two, always go for the second, because you wouldn't have a second if the first was good enough. My first sequence, it sounds like this. I'm still keeping it in the beat. Initially, I had this idea to go in a more West Side Gun direction. I was going to take a drum break and have it going, and I was kind of going for that vibe. But then when I came up with the second sequence, because you can't only have one sequence, so for variation I came up with the second. And I was like, okay, damn, that's kind of like, I'm feeling Dilla, man. Yeah, I want to go in a Dilla kind of direction with the swing, with the bounce, Madlib, Alchemist. I'm trying to get into that zone, So I kind of dropped the West Side Gun bag. I then came up with this small variation here with strings from the sample. What I actually did was I had other chop. So these chops, they're very low in volume because I just want them to serve as texture, kind of, you know, some ear candy. I added a lot of effects onto this. I have an air fuzz, wah, so it's basically your wah, 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 wah. And then I had some stereo width. I used the left side of the sample because in the left side of the sample, it had less keys and more strings. So I wanted the strings for this part. So I got the strings out using this. As you can see, my pan trim is set to left, so I have the left side of the sample there. And then obviously I needed to add another one here to make it mono, so that it's not only playing in my left ear, it's now playing in both sides, but it's mono, right? And then I also added a kill EQ to remove all the lows and to increase some of the highs and the mids, just to emphasize the strings a bit. So those sound like this. I don't even know why my head is bopping. It's just, you know, strings. The only variation here is like a bit of the velocity and some of the note lengths. Otherwise, it's just the same thing playing over and over again. So I also added some of the strings in the first sequence and they sound like this. I'm just playing two chops instead of the same one. I'm gonna play the first bar. Okay, I played the first two bars. I felt the first bar would be too small. I came up with the drums. So let me show you my sounds. They're a bit clean but still dirty. So they sound like this. That's all. I don't have anything else. I usually don't use hi-hats in my production. For whatever reason, I just don't sit well with hi-hats. Oh God. I don't sit well with open hats. Not hi-hats, I have my hi-hats here. It's not even like layered, it's just a snare. I layered the snare with itself. The other layer is offsetted a bit before, so it's gonna play before the actual snare. So it's at low volume and it plays before. You have one, then the other playing, but in a short interval. So if I'm to increase the volume, it sounds like this. Same thing, I just added a bit of effects. I added transient shaper here to increase some of the sustain. So I got a tail. I added mother ducker. I'm gonna show you what that does a bit later. It's basically side chaining. So my drums sound like this. I like that, you know, it's swingy. And what I did here was I used different quantization. Now what that means is on the MPC, and I'm pretty sure FL Studio as well, I was a big FL head, still am, you can quantize according to 1/16, 132s, or 1/64s, or even triplets. So for each sound, I use different quantized time divisions, right? And then I also messed with the swing and the strength. I had the strength at 50 so that like it just helps, you know, my human playing sound a bit more consistent. So I close that. I'm not doing anything with that. And then that's about it with the beat. I haven't arranged it. I'm yet to do all of that. I don't know if I will, but it's just a heavy beat, you know. I like nodding to that track. I like listening to it, so I'm like, okay, let me finish it so I can listen to this beat. Okay, for my effects here on the sample, I have a kill EQ just to boost the lows. Mother ducker, yeah, side chain. Mother ducker is side chain. Listen to this. And let me increase mother ducker. That's crazy. I might actually leave it there. Let me actually put it just a bit up. I don't want to do too much, but I like the way it sounds. Right? Cool. So that's really all there is to this beat. And for my drums, I have some of the vintage hardware effects. The SP1200, I have it there. MPC 3000, I have it twice because sometimes I can't hear if I just put one. And then I have Air Flavor Pro. You can't really see that, and I apologize, it's a bit too bright, but basically it's like your RC20 but for the MPC. And then we head over to our master output. There are no effects there. This is just the raw sound of the MPC. So I believe that's all there is to the beat, and I'm gonna let it ride out for a bit, and maybe towards the end you'll see me there, you know, and we'll talk a bit about where I've been and all of that. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'm very grateful. It means a lot when you guys tap into my content, give me feedback, tell me what's up, and give me things to chop. I accept sample requests. If you wanna see me sample a song, if you wanna see sample a song of yours, just put it in the comments and I'll get to it on the MPC. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Testing. Now, for those of y'all who are wondering where the hell I've been, I was at university. And I know the focus is going in and out, but bear with me, man. That's all I got, dude. I was in university, and for some reason, I left all my equipment, all my recording equipment. So yeah, I could make some beats, I could make some fly stuff, but I couldn't share with y'all. And for the longest, I was just like, when can I make content? When am I gonna get that chance to post beats again? Because I like that, man. My content is not just like, I'm not speaking ill of them. It's not just, type beats, farming content, pushing content. I really love what I'm doing, man. I love speaking to all of y'all and just sharing music, because it's a good thing. And when you have something good, you want to share. So I'm glad to be back home. I'm not like a fork that's in the kitchen. A fork is always in the kitchen, but once you put the fork in the pool, it's not where it belongs. And when I was in university, I felt like a fork in a pool. I'm doing mechanical engineering, and sure, yeah, I can do it, but it's not really where my heart's at. This is where my heart is. And I have big things planned for this holiday here. I want to record a lot of content. I want to push so much, man, so that when I'm done, when I leave, I actually even have more content, so I can just post when I'm at school. Post. Because I saw this dude, Carlos, probably saying his name wrongly. You should check him out on YouTube. He makes great content. If you want to eat or do chores, he has hour-long videos. Go check him out. So I saw that dude with my own 2 eyes go from 5k subscribers to 10k in 2 weeks. Now I know he's a bigger channel, so the algorithm was probably pushing him a bit, but I need you to take away something from it. It really showed me that anything is possible. I watched him do it just by being consistent. So I want to see what I can do if I push myself to be consistent. Even he was in university and he told me he's pushing every day. Every day he's pushing. He wakes up in the morning, records his videos, and sends them out later. So I want to get to that stage. So once again, thank you all for tuning in, and cheers to a long and successful YouTube career. Peace, y'all.